raiders and invaders were traders and farmers instead. So we've calmed down significantly since we've settled. So you're not in any danger while you're down here with us today. Don't worry. We've got Grummy's backyard here, the roaring fire in the middle, and the pot over the top where he's melting down all of the iron. Grummy's wife Inga, she dyes cloth for a living. So she takes the root of the madder plant, mixes it with a bit of horseshoe, and that's how she makes the lovely colours of pink and red. I'm very sorry for those of you wearing those colours here. We're lucky enough to own one of these. The women of the family would carry the key around on their belts. It's not for safety purposes, just to show off the fact that they own one. So it's a very silly thing for Grummy to leave out on the bench, because anybody could come along and just take it. And actually, I complete all of her work because it burns a lot hotter, which means the inside of this home will also smell like horseweed. As you guys spend time with us today, you will come to realise that we use horseweed for basically everything. It is wonderful stuff, it's multi-purpose, and you guys are really missing out on that. So we've got our fish being cooked by the fire here, and also the meat hanging from the roof. Cubragata, do any of you recognise it? No? You should do, you basically just walk down it. In fact, I think our shoemaker is in the same spot as pavers upstairs. But this is basically our Viking shopping centre. So we've got Grummy selling all of his metal work, we've got our leather workers making our shoes, our antler workers making our combs, we've got our cup makers, obviously, hence the name of the street. Oh, perfect, thank you very much. And as we close this portal here, a new one opens for you guys just over there. You're going to embark on an adventure of your own back to the 10th century. You're going to experience the sights, the sounds, and most disgustingly, the smells of this city. So if you have any questions at all before you go, please do ask. Please do stop and speak to our lovely volunteer as well. He's got some really cool things to show you. But other than that, safe travels and enjoy the rest of your day.
To visit, trade, and settle. In this multicultural society, people have different appearances, languages, religions, and possessions. The remains of part of this thriving city were found right here, and by carefully piecing together all of the archaeological evidence and what we know from other sources, we can now visit the Viking Age. Arrived by the River Foss, ahead lies the city with countless houses and workshops, many of them newly rebuilt. Some, like this damaged one, are victims of an untended half-baths. As ships became more seaworthy, the Vikings created wider trading links, sometimes using chains of middlemen to carry goods from one side of the Viking world to the other. Silks and a cowrie shell found here suggest trade. He's trying to make his way up to Coventry. But before we get there, let's have a look at some of the many craftspeople working here in the city. Here's Sigurd. He's using animal bones and antler from deer to make some everyday objects such as combs, comb cases, skates, and bone pins. Making a comb from antler, history of copper, and meet some more of the people who lived and worked here. Ahead, you can see a simple, single-story building. These older houses were built from posts and wattle and had earth floors and thatched roofs. The blacksmith's house. Look inside and you can see his wife by the fire. Grummy, the blacksmith, is teaching his son how to sharpen a knife he has just made. Viking Age smiths were masters of their craft, and here in Jorvik they made everything from needles to beautifully ornate padlocks.
That ball guy looked like a real people.
Another building is being built behind Ummy's house. Here, the cellar is being dug out and lined with oak planks before the upper story is added. You can see a stack of turrets over there that are going to be used to roof this building.
They look like real people,
Looks like the
but
builders
not.
are having a rest, though.
Oh, look at that little kid. Don't
As well as rare and valuable items from further afield were brought into Jorvik here. Iron alloy bars from Britain alongside amber, sharpening stones and a wool refinery from Scandinavia, and good wine from the Rhineland. Jorvik was truly bustling, a vast international trading centre. Here's some faces being reconstructed based on a skull that was found in York. Later on in the visit, we see more real faces like this. This next plot is a backyard where the people living here seem to have been dyeing their own cloth. The people of Jorvik spun fleece, then dyed and wove their own wool to make.
We're going into this house bit. Open spider. Oh, by the way, guys, I didn't tell you at the start, so
We are now entering one of the new style oak planked buildings. We were still discussing whether these buildings were 1 or 2 stories, but they all had rooms or cellars below ground level.
Viking centre, so
As we travelled through this light so that the people who lived here could carry out their everyday tasks.
What that lady looking at us like that?
In this front room, you can see a woman working at the loom, which was used to weave woolen cloth for clothing and blankets.
What the hell? Can I touch you? Hey, you weirdo.
Many streets in this city, which was home to more than 10,000 people. The streets of the city of Jorvik are covered in filth and mud, rooted by cart wheels and with potholes everywhere. This leather worker seems to be having a problem sewing his shoe pieces together. It looks like he has Viking's disease, or Jockey Tom's contraction. You can see it's caused the fingers on his hand to become clawed. It's a genetic disorder that runs in families in Europe and beyond as they travel and intermarry.
Where'd that cat come from?
This couple here are arguing about what to have for supper, meat or fish. It would seem that life hasn't changed too much over the last 1,000 years. They're arguing This woman looks like she's struggling to cross the road. We only found 2 complete skeletons in the excavations here, and this one is based on one of them. You can see that she's walking with a crutch due to her hip problems and arthritis. You can find out more about her in the galleries to come. The first Vikings who came here were not Christians and worshipped their pagan Norse gods, but they seem to have adopted Christianity quite quickly. There is lots of evidence for there being a Viking-era church just behind Coppergate, and there were many other new churches built in Jorvik at this time. Here's a priest administering last rites. He would always have worn a stole around his neck as seen